everybody. Back to our Tuesday segment, Little Stories, Big Impact. And I'm so glad because one of my personal friends, the wonderful and lovely Nicole from Partners Group, is joining us today. Say hi, Nicole.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and Partners Group.
Maybe I'll start first with Partners Group. Partners Group is basically a global asset management firm that specializes in, the private market. So, like for instance, private equity, private debt, private infrastructure, private real estate. So this is what Partners Group is mainly about. And I am basically a fund controller in Partners Group, basically like fund accounting, where I do like the accounting for the funds in Partners Group. And I've been in Partners Group for about 3 years now. So yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a very high pressure job. How do you cope with it?
Well, I learned to manage my time and learn to, I think people skills is very important in the corporate world. So I think when you have learned to, navigate with, dealing with people or dealing with conflicts and situations, or, together with the technical skills that you've gained, I think that's really important.
Nice. Thanks for that advice also. And yeah, Nicole, you are a really good example of someone who's really managed everything so well, not just in terms of your technical skills, like you said, your people skills. And I know you are always vibrant, energetic, loving, caring. And I know that in your personal life, you also do lots of volunteering in your free time. But I wanted to zone in specifically on the project with Campus Impact. There was a project center with Campus Impact where our kids were actually giving Christmas gifts to their neighbors, to other people who were in need. So could you just tell us a little bit more about the idea behind that?
Yeah, so I guess because Partners Group was actually wanting to basically, as part of our 25th anniversary, we really wanted to support our communities. So they reached out to, people within Partners Group, like for volunteers who wants to start a project or an initiative or find some charity organization that we could work with to support. So then, because I was friends with you, right? So then I thought, hey, I can think of something to work with Campus Impact, right? And help out Campus Impact. Which I'm sure you guys would really appreciate. So with that, I actually, I reached out to you, and remember we brainstormed a lot of ideas. We brainstormed a lot of ideas, like what could we explore. And then, you were really creative. You came up with a creative idea about, Christmas. And I really love the idea about, basically, so I call it the Project Santa Junior. Basically, how it works is that, these young people on the program, instead of receiving, they are in fact, giving back to society by cultivating in them a spirit of giving through distributing Christmas goodie bags to people in need. Especially in the neighborhoods nearby, there are people that lives in, the one-room rental flats, people who are the less fortunate, and we thought that would be a good idea to partner up with Partners Group to basically work together with the children and helping them to make it feel like this is their little project, to come up with little Christmas, make up their own little Christmas goodie bags to give to some family in need in those neighborhoods. Yeah, I thought that was really, really nice. So we turned it into a little project, and then we came up with little nuggets along the way. For instance, like, we made this. I think because we had trouble, like, we had trouble with the COVID, and so we couldn't really meet the kids. So we turned it into a pen pal writing system where the volunteers and Partners Group will teach the kids to basically write letters with the kids to get them to think about, what do you want to give to your neighbor? What do you think your neighbor needs? And things like that. So I thought that was quite nice. And then we went.
Yeah, it's really heartwarming.
Yeah,
I always think that we are rich when we can give back. It's not so much a number that you chase. It's not the 5 C's that you chase, but when you can recognize you have enough and that you can actually share with others, that's when you're truly rich. And I really, really enjoyed also, I think, seeing the enthusiasm, the joy that you have, the willingness to, try crazy ideas and just do something, right? So that was really lovely. And not just that, you even mobilize your colleagues to do it. So it wasn't just you carrying the entire project. You actually led people, inspired them to take this on also. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your views on corporate volunteering. Why do you
Mhm.
think that's important for your team at work?
Personally, I would say maybe I wouldn't talk so much about important. I think it's more of the impact that corporate volunteering does. There's so much impact when organizations support such initiatives, or basically garner their employees, and they themselves leading by example by starting up all these little projects for their employees to own and to give back to society. I think when organizations support all of this spirit, right, there'll be so many people that will participate, and it's
Yeah.
not just the company giving in the form of financial support. Yeah, it really comes a lot when it comes from an organization versus had it come from one individual.
Yeah.
And
The team
exactly,
spirit, the collaboration also
exactly,
is, yeah, so powerful.
are very happy or excited to be just even be a volunteer, because at the end of the day, people are always looking out to give back to society. It's just they don't really know how, or don't know how to search. And I guess when Partners Group actually provides this platform, I guess a lot of people actually jumped on it, like, hey, do you want to join this one? And everyone's like, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right. You
so
made it easy for people to give
yeah,
back.
exactly,
You had a
exactly,
whole
yeah,
system to do it. It's not like
exactly.
so much effort and onus on the person to go out and then look for the volunteering opportunities. And like you rightly said, it's so much more than just throwing money at a problem. It's about getting people rolling up their sleeves, actually interacting with the beneficiaries, actually walking into their world and understanding it truly makes the real difference. It's so much more sustainable and so much better to do that real good in that sustained volunteerism. So far we've been hearing how fantastic corporate volunteering is, how it's a win-win situation for the organization, for the people, as well as the social service agency. But in doing that project with Campus Impact, right, what were some of the challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
So probably the first challenge was probably getting volunteers, because we do have quite a number of projects ongoing. So I would say I think it started out a bit shaky, like, oh, we didn't have enough volunteers. So then we were started like really just tapping on my connections in the company to like, hey, do you want to join this? And then just really tapping on my connections, and then people started streaming in. Like, I really appreciate my friends or people that I asked, even if they have already signed up for a project, they would help me to ask around, to help me out also in terms of making this a success. Because
Yeah,
if
and
we
really
had no
championing the
volunteers,
cause.
correct. So a lot of people actually ended up joining in, even though, and most of these people actually who joined this project, this is a second project, which means they already had a first project, and they were willing to sign up, and they were willing and basically volunteered to sign up for a second project for Campus Impact.
And I
So
know
really,
what
really
kind of
appreciate.
cost that is, because you guys work crazy hours. I mean, how many hours do you work a day?
Well, 8 hours or more. That's the.
You're
I
giving
mean,
the PC
I mean,
answer, but okay.
I
But I know, on top of your work schedules and when it's crunch time, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand. Wow, it's
I can't
really,
say for
really
the whole
incredible.
company. Yeah, but I mean, this happens during everybody's peak period lah. So
Yeah,
peak periods are really bad lah. That's definitely more than 8 hours, but people still, people put in the extra out, like really extra hours just to do
yeah,
this. Is really extra hours for everyone.
yeah.
So
And they did it so joyfully. So I
yeah,
thought that was so beautiful to see. And
yeah.
besides recruitment of volunteers, what else did you face while running the project?
After that will be more of, so when we got the volunteers, then with the volunteers it would be I think the funding that the company gives to support this whole project. I think in the end we garnered enough volunteers, so I was very thankful for that. So funding was all right, but I think after that, when it came to the nitty gritties of the planning itself, we actually faced a bit of hiccups. For instance, because the COVID restrictions, we couldn't take the kids to the shopping malls because it's crowded. So we ended up keep changing as we go along. Like, so okay, there's limitation, we tweak it. So volunteers ended up doing the shopping, but we turned it into like the pen pal system where the kids will choose what they want, and then the pen pal will basically like get a bit more tips, get a bit more like get the kids thinking. So it makes the kids still feel like, hey, I contributed to this. I kind of
That's
made a
right.
wish list for my neighbor, and then
That's right.
basically we be the Santa Claus facilitators to get the gifts for the kids, and then we bring it there, and then we have the kids like wrap them up. So we don't do all the wrapping, and we don't do everything. We only do the shopping, then the wrapping of the gifts, the letters, and all, like the kids have to do it themselves. So it's still their little project in a way lah. Oh, the another challenge was we realized when we work with the little children, there's a bit of challenge because a lot of them says funny stuff like, I want to buy carrots for my neighbor, or I want to buy a lot of funny stuff that we couldn't, like chicken rice for my neighbor as a Christmas
Yeah.
gift, which was
Yeah.
really cute.
Because the needs are really just the basic necessities, right?
Yeah, and then we were like, so all the volunteers were like, oh wow, everyone's coming to me like, hey, how come
What do we do?
the request so cute one, like, like how do I pack chicken rice? Oh, my actual kid actually said, I want to give salmon as Christmas gift to my neighbor. I was like, how do I pack salmon? How do I wrap up salmon as a gift?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all this little cutie stuff like, oh, carrots. Oh, and then the
Yeah.
justification was, oh, I want to give carrots so that my neighbor's eyes will be good with carrots.
It's very cute. You know, when our kids do art therapy, right? One
Yeah.
of the things that they consistently make would be food. And from
Oh.
that we actually learned that it's actually a yearning for basic necessities, like basic needs like food, to be met lah. So I think, yeah, they have very simple wishes, very simple dreams, and very
Very.
simple ones. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
thought that was so nice to see that kind of innocence. But yeah, I could totally imagine like the bafflement from the volunteer side, like, what do I do with this request? How do I ice the salmon and then make sure that it's
Yeah,
fresh?
I didn't know how to do it. Yeah. So
Yeah, but thanks
we
so much
managed
for,
to-
like overcoming, the challenges, one barrier after another, and being so flexible. And even in the most recent phase two Hygiene Alert, right? Because of partners group support, we were actually able to prepare care packs for our kids. The art therapist prepared them, and we actually gave them some materials also so that they could work through their emotions in what was a very difficult time for them, process anger and reflect and write down on their journal. So thanks so much for that. Okay, last but not least, okay, what advice do you have for those who are thinking of championing a cause amongst their colleagues?
At the end of the day, it's really it all comes from the heart. So really ask yourself, why are you doing this? Really, why do you spend so many hours doing this? Is it because you were delegated to do this? I mean, it's definitely more than that. I mean, the success of the project is really so much about your genuine passion to really give back to the community and your passion to help. And I think when people really see that, and for me, when I led this, this initiative, I think the very, very important thing is when people come and, like join these projects, they genuinely want to help. And everyone wants to know the impact that they create. And I think being able to motivate your people about, small little impacts like this, even small little efforts from them, makes so much difference to our beneficiaries, and that really makes us feel like, hey, I'm it's all worth it. Like, it's not I'm just doing this because I had to, but or because my company made me do it or whatever, but it's really that I am making a positive impact here, like outside of work,
That's right.
Yeah, and I think that's very important. I felt, actually, to be honest, like throughout my entire work life, I'm genuinely giving back, or Partners Group is really giving back, and I felt it.
When you start with why, right? When you really drill down, and you're not doing this to fulfill some weird KPI, doing this because of love, you're doing this because you see the meaning behind it. It's so different, and what a beautiful project it was. Thank you so much, Nicole. I think that's all the time we have for today. I'm sure more and more people will want to know more about Partners Group and about the amazing work that you're doing there. Once again, I think thank you so much for joining us for our Tuesday Little Stories, Big Impact. And thank you so much for the great impact you did at Campus Impact. So all the best and keep up the great work. Thanks so much, Nicole. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.